Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host, and today's episode is on co-creating clarity. Yes, we will be diving into this co-creating clarity subject that, of course, is so necessary for the new earth, right? Because to stay in clarity in every way keeps us in the receiving, keeps us in the highest light alignment. It keeps us in our authority, right? So that's what we'll be diving into. But before we do, hello, my gorgeous. Happy full moon. Happy full moon in Scorpio. I have to be honest, I didn't expect it to be so smooth. You feeling it that way too? Curious. I kind of expected it to come in like real hard, real strong, because it's been so intense, but it's really kind of like, it's like really nice. Very nice. Are you noticing that too? It's like smooth. So not like a regular Scorpio full moon. But anyways, it is a magical full moon because the sun is at 11 degrees and the moon is at 11 degrees. So we're 11 portal, right? This is a very big moon to actually step into our destiny. We're stepping into all of the next levels. Are you ready? Are you ready to level up? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to do it? Let's do it. Let's do it. Because we're there, we're here. It's time to really take it up a few notches. The frequencies have been coming in so high. I know everybody's just like, I can see it everywhere. People are up leveling, right? This growth, this expansion, it's just happening. Good, very exciting. And so let's jump on board with this moon because this is also a special moon because it's the first moon of the month. We'll have another full moon on May 31st in Sagittarius. So this entire month is about holding yourself to your highest level, holding yourself to your highest consciousness, holding yourself to your purest clarity, holding yourself to your most alignment, deepest alignment, highest alignment, mental alignment, emotional alignment, physical alignment, spiritual alignment, really to work with that. We're stepping it up. We're taking the step. That's the space we're in right now. It's this, okay, this is you in the new. This is you in your clarity and understanding how, as you are embodying higher levels of consciousness, as you are growing in your frequency, you are changing. You're changing not just in the way that you're setting boundaries and in the way that you're able to speak your truth and in the way that you're able to breathe through a trigger. This is all just part of the normal maintenance now, right? Now we're moving into understanding that now you're needing to allow in, receive in clarity, feminine energy, right? Allowing in, receiving in who you are more, who you are higher, who you are elevated, who you are. And it could feel a little like, I don't know, who am I, you know? And I even have people asking me, I'm afraid of who I will be if I really let go, if I really surrender, like, who am I? And I actually said this yesterday to somebody, and I said to her, look, this is somebody new. That's why. So she, and I was like, well, you know that this is your path and you feel called to your ascension. You're doing the work. And you also now need to be in deeper trust, right? In deeper alignment and surrender to that. You know that you're not going to mess yourself up. You know that you're only having your best and highest good at heart. You know that you are co-creating your higher self. Your soul is on this purpose path on this mission-focused path, on this illuminating path, because it's your desire, it's your heart. You cannot not do it. So therefore, you also have to know that you're co-creating, but you also have to stay open to receive the unknown. Like, you don't know how great can it get, right? And that's this kind of moon as well. It's like, don't fear what you cannot see. Don't fear what you don't know, the unknown. Like, really stay in the, how great can it get? Could I, like, how amazing can it get? Like, can I really, like, wow, okay, yes, let me open myself to that possibility. Yes. Let me stand in that receptivity. Yes, let me be the magnet to all of these possibilities, stepping out of the ego that wants to fear and doubt, stepping out of the old tendencies and comfort zones and identifications more, right? That is that letting go. That is that creating more clarity as to what is now for your light and what is not feeling correct anymore. It may still have excuses. It may still have explanations. It may still have a story attached as to this is how you are. This is who you are. That's just me. That's just me. People say it all the time. That's just me. And when we say that, when we say, well, that's just me, then that's what we get to keep. We get to be that. We get to be that and stay in that. And so this is really this process of creating deeper clarity now as we're up leveling. Remember, deeper is higher. Going deeper is the way into your highest level of consciousness. And asking yourself the questions, right? Asking yourself the questions. Is this still, how does this feel, and why does it feel that way? And am I really truly in alignment? Am I listening to my intuition, my guidance, right? To continue to check in, to continue to question everything, to continue to ask self, is this true? Is this still true? That's just me? That's just me? That's just me. That's just how I roll. Is that true still? Is that still what I want to be? Is that still what aligns? Is that still what aligns me into my bigger possibilities that I may not be able to know or see, but I can sense them, I can feel them coming, right? All the possibilities, all the things that you are a match to, all the things that you've been working on within yourself to be the vibrational frequency tool. This is the time we're in, that you are now, okay, I need to be open to new ways, other ways, better ways, being flexible, shifting myself, being moldable, because you're transforming, we're transforming, right? That's you being in clarity. You have to keep co-creating clarity to your highest and greatest good, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? You have to make sure that you have yourself in that alignment, into that heart, mind, spirit, soul communication coherence. Because some people receive different communication through the heart, than through the intuition. Heart is always the guidance for compassion and forgiveness and understanding and wisdom, right? Intuition is really more of the voice of your soul. It is really more the compass, the voice, the direction, the moment to moment decisions that manifest the new earth. Remember, new earth is soul guided manifestation. Yes, so you have to stay clear, connected through the breath into yourself, through the feminine energy, flowing with it now, right? And allowing for yourself to up level, upgrade. And I want to give you an example. one of my goddesses in my goddess program, and all of them are amazing and all of them are doing so great and we're having the best time. So one of them, she's, young and really inspired and she like loves it, right? She's like, she's in it. And so she made it through the Temple of Powers and she met Mother Goddess and she went through her initiation with her inner goddess embodiment and which, opened her up, right? All of this work, all of this deepening, program or no program, it opens you up. Sensory, knowing, feeling, seeing, receiving, right? You're so much more present, so much more because you're clear. Got to be clear to be the magnet, the channel for these higher frequencies, right? You are one of the higher frequencies. You're in the higher frequencies. It's an elevated state. It's the new earth foundation, open heart, clear. And so this goddess in the course, let me come back. So she's now noticing that, she's speaking more. She's, having more conversations with the goddesses in her day-to-day life, right? She's more aware of them supporting her because that's what the goddesses will do. That's what goddess work is for. We're here to work with the goddesses now and also to honor that worth within self, right? Through inner goddess embodiment. And so she sent me a video that she took of herself with herself walking, and no matter how she turned the camera, no matter where the sun was, no matter the angle, there was always this ring. It was always this orb, right? It was an orb. It was spirit showing itself to her. And it had nothing to do with, anybody, trying to make it look as such. No, like these things. And this is part of the up-leveling too, because she was questioning it. She was doubting it. She's even questioning the conversation and the communication, right? With the goddesses or her higher self or, her guidance. And so for her, the journey has been one of really moving through the layers of the ego, letting go of the ego, the fear, the doubt, the worry, right? The disbelief, like not being really able to trust it. And in the beginning, she would ask me a lot, am I making this up? I feel like I'm making it up. Am I making it up? And I would be like, no, you're not making it up. You're not thinking, right? Remember, you're not thinking. So then you're also not making it up. I put oil on my chest and it's still really there. I didn't even realize. But so it's this doubting of the ego, because remember, the ego doesn't know you're a soul. The ego doesn't know you're light, or your ego does not know you're ascending. Your ego wants to keep you to the old ways, to the old identifications, to the old tendencies, to the old beliefs, to the old ways of being in this illusion, because that's the only thing that you've ever been conditioned with. So your ego is trying to keep you there. And in this example, her ego was really keeping her there, like really doubting it. And when I said to her, no, this is, this is you understanding that you're seeing more now. You're open to receiving more now. You are open to spirit, right? Because that's what fifth dimensional living is. That is what higher consciousness of the new earth is like, right? We're not in the 3D ego any longer. We're shedding it. We're growing out of it. We're leveling out of it. We're allowing ourselves to actually remember that we're so much more. And we get to now transform these physical vessels to be that, because the transformation of the physical vessel is necessary. It has to purify, it has to cleanse, all the purging, right? All of these years and months leading up were all about deep purging to make room and everybody to where they're at. But so she's now realizing that, oh, right? She has to find now a new comfort zone with herself in the receiving, in like having clearer communication, seeing more, seeing spirit, not just when we're journeying, not just when she's going to the temples, but in real life. Like she's like, oh, right. I didn't anticipate that this would happen, right? That all of a sudden now, yeah, I'm not journeying. I'm actually in my real moment, real time life experience. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing spirit and I'm talking to spirit and I'm feeling everything and I'm knowing everything. And it's really amazing. And so, yes, of course, and I said, you look, she gets it 1,000%. But I said to her, it's up to you now to co-create for your clarity, right? It's up to you now to co-create for this opening. When this doubt shows up and you listen to it a lot and you kind of like get sucked into it, and you're back out just, rushing, that's not only going to disconnect from self and from the intuition, that will also then lower the vibration, that will then also result in less communication, less ability to see, right? And so this is a perfect example when we're looking at kids, when we're looking at children. When we're young, all of us were born sensitive. I'm sure there are exceptions, but most of us were born super sensitive and loving and forgiving and hopeful and believing in the magic and all the beautiful things that are possible, right? We were born that way. And most of us had connection to spirit. We knew more, we saw more, we felt more, right? We were open-hearted, we were connected. And we're all born that way. But then as life happens and we're not receiving the love, attention, care, sensitivity, approval, everything that we're wanting, but not getting it. And then children, of course, place it onto themselves, and it becomes the wounding that forms patterning, as you know. But yes, that's what all of this is about, right? When we are looking at creating clarity, when we are looking at this journey of life, most are still very focused on outcome, on goal, and that takes away from clarity, right? So most of us are still all day long busy, right? Work, meeting, podcast, right? Like everybody has their lives very full, very overscheduled. And so always looking for the outcome, always looking to fulfill the next goal and the next responsibility and the next appointment. And so as we are caught in these outcome orientated actions, which it's not bad, right? We're here to be human. We're here to be in this experience. But, a big part of creating and co-creating clarity with yourself and for yourself is also not rushing through the journey to get to, right? It's like this rush to get to the next, to the next, to the next, because it's never about the outcome. It's never about the goal. And no matter how big we think the mission is and how important it is, it's not about the mission. The mission will fall into place in the right way as long as we stay in alignment, as long as we stay in clarity, right? So for example, the mission, right? The mission to have Goddess Resurrection be a global support system and schooling and elevation, illumination, sisterhood, holding and seeing the vision is part of it, yes. But in the end, along to that vision, to that goal, right, there has to be the journey, because we're here for the journey. We're not here for any specific outcome. We're not here for the goal. We're not here for the mission only. No. And I think that that's an important part to also understand clarity more. You're the reason you're incarnated. Your ascension, your healing, your growth, your presence to yourself and your life, your experiences with yourself, not just mentally, emotionally, and physically, but also to stay connected to your intuition and to know when it's, okay, let's reroute on the way to the mission. Maybe I thought it was going to be this way, but then because I'm present to myself and I am not rushing, but I'm staying in my feminine energy, still getting everything done, but staying in the feminine energy and still connected and listening to my intuition and feeling the ways, right? The choices to make. And sometimes it shifts, sometimes it changes. And that's all part of allowing the journey to matter, allowing to stay present to all of the parts of life, allowing to be in life fully. And I want to give you an example about that. Because, for example, Mother Teresa, bless her soul, right? Mother Teresa, she gave and gave and gave and gave and gave because she thought that was her mission. She was focused on the mission, right? That was what she was here to do. And so it became her entire mission, her entire vision. You know, Mother Teresa, along the way, she actually sacrificed. She sacrificed her life, her family, her friends, any and all people who meant so much to her. You know, she of course was working with people, but she sacrificed all of her time and all of her energy to only give to the mission. And along the way, she also then sacrificed herself. She sacrificed herself, her own needs, her own joy, her own appreciation for life, right? And so many don't know this, but Mother Teresa actually passed completely devoid of any faith, of any joy, of any love, of any light, you know, because she lost herself. She had no clarity. You know, she got completely sucked into the, you know, fixation of the masculine, which then when the ego holds on to it, right, becomes the, well, that's just how I am. That's just who I am, right? That she was her mission. And she believed that so deeply and she chose that so fully and she became it, right? She became a martyr. And she sacrificed herself and her soul light and her actual experience. And she even became so dense and so hardened and so bitter that she lost her faith. That which brought her to her mission in the first place, because she lost the connectivity, because she lost the moments of the journey, because she lost that she was also supposed to live and experience herself and work on herself and give and receive joy. So you see, even when the intention is very positive, right? Even when the intention is so from the heart and purely received, we have to always stay in co-creation for clarity. We always have to stay in that co-creation for, okay, am I still in alignment? Am I still on the right path? How am I feeling? How does this feel? Let me process this. Let me take a second. Let me take a day off. Let me take a bath. Let me reconnect. Let me go out. Let me see my friends. Let me laugh. right? We need the contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. Your life will not be measured by your achievements. Your life will not be measured by your accomplishments, by your mission, by your bank account, by whatever empire you built. Your life will not be measured by that. Your life will be measured by how much you chose yourself and to listen to yourself and to ask yourself and to be transparent to yourself and to connect with yourself and to be real with yourself and to want to know what else is keeping you from your light and how else you can be in deeper alignment, right? It's all about how much did you embody your true self? How much did you remember and choose to enjoy your journey and your process and your learning and your growth? And the people that are part of it, and Mother Nature, and life itself, which is such a blessing. Right? And so that's the journey. It's about the journey. It's not the destination. And it's not just a slogan. It's not just a song. It is about the journey. It is about the moments. It's in the moments that we're able to stay in clarity and stay present to self that we notice what old energy, what old identification is still driving us. Why? Why am I doing this way? Why am I wanting it this way? Why am I holding on to it having to be that way? Okay, let me let go of that way of thinking. Let me let go of that attachment because it feels a bit constricted, because it feels a little uptight, because it feels a little stubborn, right? Okay, let me relax. Let me breathe. Let me just trust a little bit more and look around and feel myself. Make sure I'm listening to all parts of self, because when we're not listening to all parts of self, we're also not in clarity, right? Be aware of how am I thinking? What am I perceiving? How am I judging, shaming, blaming? How am I choosing highest perspective? How am I choosing, right, to light align? Emotionally, how am I processing? How am I feeling my emotions? Am I staying present to my emotions so that I know what's going on? Am I staying present and listening to my intuition, to my guidance, to my compass, to myself, my soul? So I know I'm in alignment. So I know I'm in the right way and adjustment and leveled up version of myself. And so remember to do that throughout this month. Right? Remember full moon, Scorpio goes deep. Yes, underbelly. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, transformation. Like it chews you up and spits you out. Yes, and so this is this up-leveling. We're needing to continue to transform. We're needing to continue to have these little deaths, these micro deaths, these micro dark nights of the soul, and stay clear about that too. And all of this month, stay so flexible, question everything, wonder, is this still me? Does this still align? Is this helping me up level? Okay, let me be open to being in the up-leveled sense and flow and breath and receiving, right? Practice that all month. It is a magical time for you to step into your transformation. Question yourself. Is this true? Is this still true? Is this still working for me? Why am I wanting to do that again? I don't know. Maybe I need to sleep over it. You can give yourself time too. You can sleep over it. You can relax with it. You don't have to rush at all. It's about the journey. It's about your process. It's about you learning your own timing and your own flow and staying in what feels right and what feels good, tending to that which your intuition, your guidance is telling you to tend to, because that's the ultimate mission. Small little spots of the mission along the way to the biggest mission, right? All of these parts make the big mission. That's what will manifest it in the new earth. And that's what we're all going for. All right, my gorgeous. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Please do leave me comments. Let me know what you're wanting to hear about, anything that you're struggling with, anything that you're working on. Keep me posted so I know. And please do like, share, and subscribe. And I am so grateful for your energy and your time and your presence on this platform. And as always, I am sending you love and light blessings. Hugs and kisses to you and yours. Ciao for now.